You are listening to Nerds with Mics. Today's podcast is brought to you by Gamefly.com. Sign up for a free 30-day premium trial specifically for our listeners at the following URL, gameflyoffer.com/nerdswithmics. Today, the nerds are going to be talking about, is Suicide Squad a flop? Batman's bugging out, and the new Samsung Note 7. All this and more. This is Nerds with Mics. Hey, everybody.
He was saving that one.
I'm Travis.
I'm Justin.
No, I'm Maxwell.
This is episode 14 of Nerds with Mics, a podcast about movies, TV shows, games, technology, and much more. The Nerds with Mics podcast is produced every week for your enjoyment, and show notes are found on nerdswithmics.com. So what's everybody been up to? Justin?
Well, like I told you I would do, I kept my word. I played the new Batman game, but I did not see the movie, so I only kept half of my word.
Yeah, exactly.
I did play Batman, Realm of Shadows, I think is what it's called. It's pretty good. Not going to lie, the new expansion for Rainbow Six Siege came out, so I did try that. It's pretty good.
Is it good?
Yeah, I also read Harry Potter.
Oh, well, we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, been pretty busy.
Yeah, so what about you, Maxwell? What have you been up to? And I'm hoping you have an answer other than whack, 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 whack.
Yeah, I was sick.
Ooh, not fun.
Yeah, like from Thursday up until I'm still kind of like nasally.
Oh, nasally.
I still got some mucus in my nose.
So I've been blowing my nose like all day, but I feel a lot better yesterday and today than I have since Thursday.
Well, that's good.
Which today being Wednesday, just as a reference, so almost a week. However, because I had a lot of downtime in the house, I picked up one of your favorite shows, Travis, that you talked about through most of our first few episodes, Jessica Jones.
Oh, yes. Yes, very good. And how are you? Have you finished it yet, or where are you at?
Still got a couple episodes left, and we'll be talking about that show soon today.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, I like Jessica Jones for the most part. I thought the villain in that show was really interesting. The villain is different than any villain I've ever really seen. So
yeah. So as far as that, I also picked up Sense8, which is on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. That show is by the Wachowski twins.
The brother and sister.
Well, I think they're sister and sister now.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They were brother and brother, then brother and sister, and I think.
Yeah, that's
that
right.
show is very slow moving, but then they'll throw in like a little bit of action for like 5 minutes.
Is J.J. Abrams part of that show, or am I getting that mixed up with something else? He did Super 8. Never mind.
Yeah.
My bad.
Totally different.
Yeah.
But this one, dude, it's kind of like they just put some scenes in this, like sex scenes, just to put them in there. And it didn't really build the story, in my opinion, or build the characters or anything. And it's just, I don't know.
I see what you did there.
Some of it's just a little too much.
Just to put him in there? Double meaning?
Oh, no. Well, that's good. Well, I've been up to, actually, I've been getting back into going to the gym. I've made like a week and a half straight.
Pokemon gym?
No, an actual gym, and I've been continuing to play disc golf. However, yesterday I picked up my new Xbox One S 2 terabyte edition.
Nice.
And also picked up Batman vs. Superman in 4K. And I watched it today while I was preparing for the podcast, which is something that you said you were going to do last week, and you did not watch Batman vs. Superman.
I know.
And I got to say, the added footage, I really felt like, I mean, even though it made the movie 3 hours, I really felt like a lot of that stuff should have been left in. Like, a lot of the stuff made more sense after the stuff that was added in, so... but other than that, that's pretty much all I've been doing. Game-wise, I still have not booted up my PlayStation as of last week and the week before that and the week before that. However, I did sign up for a GameFly subscription, which is one of our sponsors, yes. So now I'm actually planning on getting more into my Xbox now that I'll be able to get games that I won't have to feel guilty about buying that I may not like. So I'll get to try some stuff out before I buy. So pretty excited about that. So... Other than that, that's been pretty much it. So
Did you get any games for your Xbox, or just?
I have the only games I have for my Xbox. I have some digital ones. So I have the 2 Tomb Raider games.
Okay,
I have,
those are good ones.
Yeah, I have Borderlands 1 and 2. And then, or the Handsome Jack collection, I should say. I also have the Gears of War remake, and then also the Rare Replay.
That's a good one.
I have that as well. But I can't wait till games that are coming out that are optimized for 4K, because a lot of them are upscale, but I'm excited for the games coming out that's supposed to take advantage of that, like Forza, and I guess probably the new Madden will, I assume. But you know me, I'm not buying Madden.
No.
But we have a lot of movie and comic book news today. So, Maxwell, do you want to get us started with some comic book news?
You know what? I think I'm going to do that. So, starting off in the comic book world, it's actually based off, or we're looking at a TV show here. So, Jessica Jones, who we were talking about earlier, as I've gotten into it and started looking up some information about season 2, and there's no season 2 until 2018.
Yep.
So, that's a big gap. Now, the reason being, I guess that's also when they're going to pick up Daredevil season 3, because they have season 1 and 2 out now, right?
Yes.
Which is another show that you are all about.
Yes. And Justin's, I don't think Justin watched it either.
No, I didn't watch it.
So I guess until then, we're going to get Luke Cage, which comes out September 30th of this year. Iron Fist, which I know nothing about, and The Defenders in 2017. Iron Fist and Defenders are 2017. So The Defenders, I believe, is actually all of the above. I think it's definitely Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, and I think Daredevil, and then somebody else is like involved in this. So it's kind of like an Avengers setup
Nice.
on a lower scale here. So that could be pretty interesting, and would explain why we won't get Daredevil or Jessica Jones until the year after.
This is only slightly off topic, but did any of you guys happen to catch the trailer for Legion? It's the upcoming X-Men show on FX.
No, I think you had maybe made mention of it last podcast.
Oh, my bad. I forget what I do.
No, you didn't. You didn't actually go into detail. But
Okay.
it was when we were covering some of the Comic-Con stuff.
Yeah.
But do you have some details on that?
No, it just looks really good. The more I see that trailer, the more excited I am. And I'm honestly, full disclosure, not really an X-Men fan.
So is this going to be on TV, or is it going to be a Netflix thing, or what's it?
TV. It's on FX. And the only reason I even watched the trailer was because, here it is again, Noah Hawley, the guy who does Fargo, is actually running the show. So I was like, I'll check it out. Trailer was really good.
So what kind of characters are in this?
It's based in the X-Men universe, and I don't know much about X-Men. Of all the superhero groups, they're probably the one I know nothing about. But I just know that it's in that world. But it's called Legion, and I think it comes out this fall on FX
I will have to watch the
Interesting.
trailer
The
for that
trailer's
after,
really good.
after this.
after the show.
After the show. So,
Speaking of which, let's get this started.
yeah,
No, I
let's.
took it from you. I'm sorry.
Oh, you knew where we were going with that. So, Justin, why don't you tell us about some news that we got about one of the things I felt like we've talked about the past several episodes.
Yes, it's important.
Fantastic Beasts and where to find them stuff.
Yes, I am a big Harry Potter nerd. And so Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them comes out later this year, November 18th, I believe. You know, it's always been said that it's going to be a trilogy. Well, today, Warner Brothers announced that the sequel will come out on November 16th, 2018. So that's pretty awesome. We get a release date before the movie's even out to see how it's even, received critically and by audiences. Obviously, I think it will do well. Do I think it will pull in Harry Potter numbers? Probably not, but I think it'll do pretty well.
Yeah.
It could. That'd be interesting, because I'd like to see the numbers based off of The Hobbit versus Lord of the Rings, because it came out quite a bit of time after. So if the numbers were like, some people were expecting it not to do so well, but then just killed it because everyone was kind of missing that franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved. I love the Hobbit movies, and I love Lord of the Rings. I think I may have actually enjoyed the Hobbit movies more than Lord of the Rings personally. But yeah, I think that would be interesting to see. What those numbers would look like as well. So
J.K. Rowling she's writing the script to this. So she did, obviously she wrote the movies, she created the universe. She is the screenwriter for this film.
oh
So I think having the author who created everything come back and tell the story, I think it's going to help. And then director David Yates, who has been a part of the Harry Potter franchise, I think he kind of directed the last few movies. He's actually coming back to direct it. So you've got a combination of people who know what they're doing with the series. I couldn't feel better about it. And the trailers have shown that's going to be pretty good.
yeah. So more Harry Potter news.
Yes, so on July 31st, which if you're a Harry Potter nerd, you know that's Harry Potter's birthday, we were gifted, I guess you could say, the 8th story in the Harry Potter saga, I guess you want to call it. And it's called Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I talked about it briefly last week. I did kind of nerd out and read the whole thing, which it wasn't that big. That's what she said. But no, it was actually quite large. No, it's a pretty tiny book, but
Tiny.
but I read it. It was good. I actually wrote a full review on it. If you want to check it out, you can check that out at nerdswithmikes.com. It was good. It was a nice story. There were some issues with it, but overall it was worth a read.
Now, was this a fan-made thing, or did J.K. Rowling actually write this?
She co-wrote it with some theater guy in London. So I think he probably had a bigger part in it.
And
than
you said
she
it
did.
was canon, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Which I'm okay with that, but it does come across. If you read the review, my biggest complaint is it kind of reads like fan fiction.
Oh, okay. So it kind of reads like 50 Shades of Grey.
I didn't say that.
So you have read it.
No, I didn't say it read like 50 Shades of Grey. No, I'm saying it doesn't.
Got him.
I only read it because it was on your mom's nightstand and I was bored.
Oh no. Well, let's get off the mom subjects. I just got off yours.
Why do you think I was late, Travis?
Oh no.
Oh.
This is going downhill.
We're
fast.
never gonna stop.
Yep. All right. So Maxwell, please try to get us out of this hole, if you know what I mean.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, moms, right? We've all got them. So, more comic book news. Han Solo comic has a couple issues released already for purchase. If you guys are into the comic book thing, go pick them up. Give them a little ready-do. And then look at the artwork of every single frame.
I assume
And
he's
then
just lying there
realize-
with a hole in his chest, right?
What?
And all the artwork you're talking about? No, I'm kidding.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
Look at this. Look at that
But
face.
one. Here's the thing. The reason why I want you to look at every artwork, and then imagine purchasing the full original artwork of every single frame from each page, and then owning that original artwork. That's a lot of artwork, right?
Yeah, I don't even know where I would keep all of that.
Well, there's one fan out there that actually did this.
And who would be that one
Who's
fan?
that crazy?
It's none other than the craziest of the crazies, George Lucas himself.
I thought you were going to say Jar Jar.
So that's kind of a big deal. I mean, so you got to think about this is a character from a world that he created, and somebody else has picked up a comic book with his character. George Lucas liked it so much that he bought every frame of art for 2 complete comics. So here's where I'm kind of wondering, does this mean that it's actually really good and we should all pick it up and read it? Or is it just so loaded down with crap that's why George Lucas likes it?
I'm going to go for the latter.
I don't know.
What do you think?
I think it has something to do maybe a little bit with his pride. I mean, it was a character that he came up with, you know what I mean? But I don't know why it would be that specific character as opposed to,
The C-3PO comic?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe Han Solo was his favorite character that he created in the Star Wars universe, possibly. I don't know, or maybe it's now that Han Solo is dead that he now wants all the Han Solo artwork.
Yeah.
Or maybe do you think he bought all the artwork so he could go back in and add extra things to it and then re-release it?
Write his own terrible dialogue on top of it.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I
Add
hate
Jar Jar
sand.
Binks to it and, yeah, some poor digital effects.
Oh, man.
Yeah, don't even get me started on that. So, well,
Oh,
that's
man.
really interesting. I mean, it makes sense why he would do it as opposed to anyone else. But I'm just curious of why. But only George Lucas and himself at the Skywalker Ranch will ever know. All right.
Well, on to other things.
On to other
So
things.
you guys use Amazon, right?
More than I care to admit.
Every day.
Yeah, I know. I need to get subscribed to Prime for a couple of reasons. One, because I order a ton of stuff, like all the time. And then on top of that, there's a couple shows coming out. One, which I already mentioned, was the guys from Top Gear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is there more
Yeah.
detail on that?
No, probably. I haven't looked it up, and I already forgot the name of the show. However, another one that's coming out that I wanted to bring up is a big deal. You guys remember the show The Tick?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
with Patrick Warburton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was Patrick Warburton, and then there was a cartoon one. They're bringing back live action again with The Tick.
We need that.
Is that sarcasm? Do I hints?
I mean, I enjoyed it. That's just of all the shows you bring back The Tick.
I mean, it's The Tick.
I'm waiting on Lost. All right.
Okay. What details do we have?
Who's in it?
It's got this new or not a new actor, but it's the actor. If you guys remember seeing, what was the name of that show or that movie?
Spy.
Spy. Yes, Melissa McCarthy. It's because it's in the show notes. How did I not read that?
I know.
He was Aldo. You guys remember Aldo, the guy that drove around the little like Fiat or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's that actor's name? I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank.
According to the notes you put in there, it's Peter Fuck You. But LOL is his last name. I mean, that's like a suffix, like a junior. Most people probably know him as Peter Serafinowicz.
Yep, you nailed it.
That's easy to
That's
say.
It. You got it.
Proper
He's had a lot of
pronunciation.
small roles in a lot of big movies, but one like Aldo was a great character. I think it was it was a good casting choice based on that actor. But he's going to be the Tick, which it's kind of interesting because when I think of the Tick, I can only think of Patrick Warburton now.
Yeah.
I know. Whoa,
He's
but
kind of a bigger. Yeah. But it'll be interesting. But that's going to be an Amazon original show.
Like, what was Patrick Warburton doing where he couldn't come back and do this?
Voicing Joe on
Yeah.
Family Guy.
That's true.
yeah.
No, he's got a couple things going on.
No.
Usually he's got shows. So
Yeah.
there's another one that was out with him, and it's like I can't remember the name of.
some sick comedy that's out where it's like him and his wife and a family or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
Yeah, who cares?
well, that's what he's up to these days.
Oh, let's talk a little bit about something we all want to talk about.
And what's that then?
Suicide Squad.
You mind if I take the lead on this one?
Oh yeah,
Go for it.
Yeah, I was
Since my name's next to it.
I was just setting the stage for you. That's all.
No, I know.
Uncomfortable silence.
Yeah.
So Suicide Squad is in theaters this Friday or Thursday, really. But they had a world premiere on Monday, which was February, 1st?
What?
February.
What's wrong with
February.
you?
Oh, my God.
What month are you in, bro?
World do I live in?
What year is it?
Life.
August. August 1st. Whatever.
Yeah, you were close.
So they had a world premiere, and David Ayer, the director, is on stage. You know, he's saying his thing. Like, oh, thanks for coming, whatever. Some fan is in the audience and yells out, "Fuck Marvel!"
Wow,
And he
really?
goes, "Yeah, fuck Marvel." So he just repeats it right back out, and then of course, probably not the best approach because then he had to get on Twitter and apologize for it.
Yeah, probably not the best idea.
And then he said, he was like saying like whatever, tip of the hat to the Marvel people, we're all brothers in this. But I don't think that he meant it in a harsh way, like truly screw them. And at the same time, you never really know. And that's why they have to go on and apologize for stuff like this. But at the same time, it's like, imagine being at a Star Wars convention and somebody yells Star Trek. The next person's going to yell, fuck Star Trek.
Absolutely.
And it's expected, and nobody's going to be holding that other person like, oh, are you disrespecting? It's like, no, this is DC versus Marvel. It's all just in fun in the long run. Everybody reads both sides
Yeah.
for the most.
It's kind of like it's kind of like console wars, really. Like Microsoft people hate Sony people hate Microsoft people. Yeah, I mean it's to be expected.
Yeah, Apple versus Android. But anyway, so in other not so great news for Suicide Squad and David Ayer, the reviews are in because
They're
they
great,
did have
right?
Premiere. They're
gonna be
not
perfect?
so great.
Oh,
Not so great. Yeah. So there's a lot of people have been publishing out some reviews, which at the same time, a lot of movies get really shit reviews, but then the fans watch it and they're like, yep, it's the best thing ever. Everybody's kind of been on the same page from some of the reviews I've been checking on. I don't want to read too deep because I don't want spoilers. out of everybody, like Rolling Stone, Vanity Fair, there's one that I would trust more based on reviews, Gizmodo. I don't know if you guys feel the same
yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
So here's a quote from the article from Gizmodo. And I quote, it's as if David Ayer had too many balls to juggle, and when they all came tumbling down, he said, well, that's still kind of cool. Cool, maybe. That doesn't make it any less disappointing. End quote.
That's awful.
Yeah.
So it's a unique way of saying, which everybody has, that it's like they just took a bunch of shit and threw it in there and tried to make it match up and the timelines fit. And you just feel like it's too much for each character, which I feel like was partly our worry. And then one guy said that the first few minutes of the movie, when it's introducing Harley Quinn, that it's visually got like this really unique take on it, like the very first trailer did of the for the movie. It was very colorful and it looked almost a little surreal with coloring. But David Ayer's done a lot of like realistic stuff. Oh man, I can't think of the name of that movie now. I should have put notes. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal in it. He's a cop.
End of Watch? Okay.
So End of Watch. That movie, he's done others like it where they're very realistic, heart, like on the street, trying to take this comic book movie and adding that color and flair. It's like he kind of lost it in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah. It seems to me, I mean, I haven't read any reviews yet, but other than obviously what you put in the notes, but it seems to me that DC, the past couple movies have been trying to play a lot of catch up to Marvel in the sense that we've had all these Marvel movies that have been laying a ton of groundwork leading up to like Civil War and all that, and these Avengers movies. Like we've had all these individual movies that lead up to the Avengers movies, whereas we haven't really seen that with the DC movies. So I felt like Batman versus Superman and now Suicide Squad is trying to lay all these building blocks for this Justice League movie to come out. And I just really think that they're just trying to play catch up at this point because we don't have individual movies for all these different characters in the DC universe. And I just feel like that's a lot of what's going on is they're trying to have one movie where they're telling all these different stories from all these different characters' point of views, but it all comes out at the end that is it just too much to be thrown into a movie. So I don't really know. I mean, I'm still going to see it, obviously, but I just wonder if maybe they're just trying to play catch up to Marvel. So
yeah, Marvel had small movies with lower, gradually increasing budgets, and DC's like, all right, we just got to go all in and make the big movies first, and then kind of come out with the solo Batman and the whatever else is coming out. But it, didn't work out too well with Green Lantern.
Yeah, and on that note, this is completely off topic, but as I was testing out my Xbox today, on my 4K TV, I was rewatching Batman versus Superman, and I forgot, and I texted it out to you all, and I was like, I forgot how much I enjoyed Ben Affleck as Batman. Like from the beginning of that movie where he's like running towards that building collapsing, from like the fight scenes and everything. Like I'm really excited for a standalone Batman movie, especially if he directs it, because he's known to be a really good director. I cannot wait for that movie at all. So, all right. Well, anybody have anything else for movies or TV shows that we may have forgot? Nope. Yep. Maxwell? Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Well, we'll talk about something we all love, and that's our sponsor, GameFly.
Yes.
Yes. For you, the listeners of Nerds with Mics, GameFly is offering a premium free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. To get your free trial today, go to gameflyoffer.com/nerdswithmics. Ba-ba-ba-bean dip. And we're back, bitches. So time to get into some gaming and tech news. So today I was actually browsing for some topics to talk about today.
Porn?
And porn, yes. And I actually stumbled across the game that I had not actually ever heard of that's coming out. It's not actually coming out until December 2017, which is a really long ways away.
You think?
Yeah, it is. However,
we all might be dead by then.
yeah. However, yeah, especially if Trump gets elected.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
Just kidding. This
It
isn't.
just got real.
This isn't a political podcast.
It is now.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Yep. But anyways, there's a game coming out December 2017, and Maxwell mentioned a couple episodes ago about one of his games that he would really like to see an HD remake of would be Shadow of the Colossus. So I think all of us here love that game, right? We're a big fan of Ico as well. However, there is a game coming out by a studio called No Matter Studio. I have no idea what else they've done, if anything. However, there's a game coming out called Prey, and that's Prey, Pray for God, Pray for the Gods. And in this game, you're basically playing the role of a hero, obviously, who is sent to a frigid island. And you're basically trying to find out why the land has been covered in an endless winter. Obviously, you get to explore your surroundings. You encounter different structures. So it's a platforming game. You also have supplies and weapons, and you'll find treasures. You also visit graves of fallen heroes that made the same trek as you to the island. But you'll also be part of solving the mystery to the never-ending winter. This game really heavily draws inspiration from Shadow of the Colossus. So if you have not seen the trailer for this game and you love Shadow of the Colossus, do yourself a favor and watch the trailer. There are 2 trailers. There's one that was released back, is it February, Justin, you seen?
I think it was October.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but there's a second trailer that just released, I think maybe yesterday. I haven't seen the original, but I just watched the new one, and I am excited for this game. Max, I made you all watch the trailer before the podcast. So what was your feelings after watching it?
It felt like it was a trailer as if Shadow of the Colossus came out today.
Yeah.
Like, and you had not seen that game type before, like where he's crawling up the Colossus and like just his hands being in the hair or the feathers and stuff. This is just obviously much better graphics. Dude, I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah.
I agree. I saw it. I'm glad you made me watch it before we started, and it looked great. It did remind me of Shadow of the Colossus. I am a little bummed out that it doesn't come out until December of 2017. I didn't realize we had to wait that long. It looked very. I know we only got a 2-minute trailer, but
like
it
a
looked
finished product,
very.
yeah.
The textures were all there. The textures were all there. The graphics looked great. I mean, they probably could release a demo today and it'd be fine.
Yeah. You know what? My whole thought process is if we've waited this long for The Last Guardian, I will wait until next year for this game. So, because we're getting Last Guardian this year, supposedly.
October, was it 26th?
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited for that game. So that'll definitely hold me over. And then whatever other games get announced at E3.
Yeah, it comes out October 2019.
2019.
Kind of like No Man's Sky, right? It's not going to come out.
That's right.
Yeah, speaking of which...
What if that was just a big hoax and they never actually made it?
Yeah, speaking of which, that game comes out the 8th, right?
8th or 9th. It's Tuesday, whatever, next Tuesday.
Yeah,
whatever that
No
is.
Man's Sky. I'm kind of excited. However...
Did you see where a Redditor, I think it was, he bought the game for $1,300 on eBay? It leaked early. And I got to admit, I really enjoyed his reasonings for spending that much money. He basically said, well, I don't know if I'm going to be alive when the game comes out, and I really want to play it. And I had the money. Okay.
But my question is this is an online game. Would the servers not have been up when he tried to play the game?
He played it. He
remember,
beat
you don't need.
What?
Yeah.
Remember, you don't need live.
Oh yeah, our PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, or whatever.
He beat it. He got to the center of the galaxy, which is your goal in the game.
Wait a second.
Yeah. He beat it in 30 hours.
Wait a second. How long?
30.
So the whole premise of this game when they first started was you may never reach the center of the galaxy.
He did it in 30 hours, and he also did side quests. Now, there is speculation. This does need to be said. There is speculation that the copy he received was a copy that was meant to be distributed to the media.
Well, also, there's going to be a day one patch as well.
Yeah. But if this is, in fact, like a special media copy to help them, expedite their journey so they can properly review it, and that could be, but it could also just be a conspiracy. But he did say this, not so good. He did say it was basically an indie title that Sony said, hey, we'll turn it into a AAA game, and slapped a $60 price tag on. But he said this game should definitely be an indie game.
I will punch you square in the face.
Me? I didn't. Not my words.
Hey, I've been saying it
I
since
will
the
punch you.
beginning.
No, I'll
6
punch you
gigabyte-
in the face.
Yeah,
Maxwell.
yeah.
You should have just listened to me.
You cursed. You jinxed us.
Either way, the gameplay looks solid. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And if it takes me 30 hours to beat the game, then it takes me 30 hours to beat the game. I'll enjoy every hour of those 30.
Yeah.
So you believe?
He's a believer.
I mean, honestly, you don't know.
I think I will, yeah.
Yeah. So
I hope you do because you guys have your heart set on this.
Oh my god, I'll be destroyed.
yeah,
And it's always Star Citizen if it doesn't work out.
that's true. Now you had mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that one of the things that you've been doing this week is playing the new Batman game. So
Yeah, I've been.
why
playing
don't you
on
give us some
Xbox.
of Why don't you give us
Not-
some of your first impressions of that,
Yeah.
but also tell us about some of the news that came out for Steam
Okay.
users.
I was gonna say, yeah, I've been playing on Xbox and not Steam, thankfully. It is very good. One thing I've noticed about this one is if like The Walking Dead is your character will often move around a lot and investigate the room. And while that is there, it's on a much smaller scale. This game is very much an interactive movie. All of the scenes are very cinematic, and it's very it's just done a lot quicker than the other ones. Like the other ones, you would spend maybe 20, 30 minutes in a scene just investigating everything and coming to a conclusion. This one, it is kind of force-fed to you to expedite the story and just to tell the story. And the story is pretty good. This first episode, you're campaigning with Harvey Dent to get him elected as mayor. And so you have your Bruce Wayne missions and you have your Batman missions. And then you have detective missions where you scan a crime scene and solve the crime. That's where most of your walking around is going to be. But for the most part, your character kind of moves on their own and just follows the story. A lot of it's kind of just like interactive cutscenes, which that was kind of disappointing, but the story's so good, I don't really care.
That's good. Is it? It's not kind. You wouldn't compare it to kind of like a choose your own adventure game, would you?
Well, yeah, it's kind of like anything else by Telltale.
Okay. All right. Well, that's cool.
Like Falcone comes in to your house during the big event for Harvey Dent, and me knowing Falcone's a douche. You have the option. Like at one point, he's like, "This is a nice mansion. I might buy the place," and I could either be nice about it, or I could be like, "Well, it's not for sale." But instead, I opted to say, "Well, too bad you can't afford it." So you can like be a jerk, but not. I'm a jerk to the Falcones, of course, but
Well, you have to be.
I know. Well, I could have been nice.
Bruce
Yeah.
Wayne can kind of be a jerk though to
Yeah.
people.
Oh, for sure.
He plays it up like he's real uppity.
Yeah, he's a little more humble in this. I've noticed he's not as I don't really know. It's really good though. I mean, for $5, I highly recommend it.
I always thought Christian Bale did the best job of coming off as a douchey Bruce Wayne.
That's because Christian
Yeah.
Bale's a douche.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. All right. Well, why don't you tell us some not so good news?
Yeah. So this game, for some reason, Batman and Steam just do not get along, or Batman and PCs don't
This
get
is
along.
like one of the second titles they've had an issue with, right?
Yeah, it is a different developer. It just happens to be the Batman name.
I know.
But the game experienced poor frame rate and game-breaking glitches in this game. I don't, luckily I haven't played it, but from everything I've seen, it's just the FPS is bad. And, I mean, even when, like, the other ones, like the other Telltale games work. So, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Batman's having a rough go on PC.
Yeah. Now, hopefully, that's something that can easily be patched. I mean, that's at least something good.
Well,
Hopefully.
yeah.
But
probably.
you remember the last Batman wasn't it so bad they just pulled it?
Arkham Knight, they pulled it from the store until they could fix it, and
Yeah.
I think it still has issues. But
Yeah.
I'll be honest, though. I got the game on PC, Arkham Knight, and I didn't have any problems with it. It worked fine for me, and I did see where people did, but I think it affected a large user base, but it didn't affect me, so I hate to sound like a jerk, but I didn't really care.
Yeah, I don't blame you. So, Maxwell, you have not really. You like the Arkham games, but you have not played many Telltale games, correct?
I like the Arkham games and have not played them. How weird is that?
Yeah, that's real strange. It's just like you.
I like Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah,
But I haven't
that would
seen it.
involve me buying the game and then spending time playing it.
Yeah.
And you know how that goes.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So one of the things that I was reading on the internet, if you've ever been there, is that somebody has actually it's the Library Internet Archive has actually taken 145 issues of Nipple Power. I mean Nintendo Power. Thanks, Maxwell, for changing the notes there. I appreciate that. Yeah, so they actually took 145 issues of Nintendo Power, and they've actually made it available live on the internet. So you can actually, somebody has went through the painstaking task of scanning every page of 145 issues and made them available online.
See, you make it sound like it's a bad thing, but imagine some guy got paid to read this magazine as he scanned each page.
I mean, did he?
I mean, I'd say so. I mean,
Who knows?
I
But
guess you
If he
could
was
be right.
if he was like our age and then got to like reminisce,
Yeah,
that would be
maybe.
fantastic.
Oh my God, it's the
but if
dream
he's like a
job.
kid and he's like, this games suck.
Yeah.
Look at these graphics.
But the issues that cover, so they start for the first issue at July 1988, and they go all the way up to June 2001. Now, I think Nintendo Power actually ran past that, but as far as the issues that are available online, that is the time frame that you have to read those issues online. At this point, in June 2011, was when we first seen the launch of the Game Boy Advance. Had just launched in North America and Europe, so that kind of gives you an idea of the time frame.
that might be my favorite Game Boy.
I like the SP. Well, Game Boy Advance SP, the one that was flipped down and it could fit in your back pocket.
Yeah, that's good too.
Yeah,
No, that was the last of the Game Boys, wasn't it?
Well, I still count the DS as part of that family.
they also had the Game Boy Micro.
Yep.
So you have a
Which is
Micro.
that's my jam.
Yeah, you said that you hadn't turned it on in years when you left and you went to get on the plane, and you said it still had battery.
Yeah, dude. At that time, just as a recap, the last time it was charged was like 2006.
Oh my God.
2013, I used it on a flight twice. This year, I think was the second time I did it, and I used it on a flight 3 times before I had to recharge it.
Wow. That's
So it should
impressive.
be good for another 10 years.
Yeah, that's awesome though. But yeah, I just thought that for those of you that are probably our age, ranging anywhere from 25 to probably 32, if you're looking for a little bit of nostalgia, you could definitely go online and check that out. It's really cool.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Do you not consider the DS and 3DS to be part of the Game Boy family, or do you think the Game Boy family died with the SP and Micro?
No, I wouldn't say that because the first iteration of the DS had a slot for you to put Game Boy cartridges in.
That's right, it did.
Yeah, so in your face.
No, I was just asking
Just
a
like your
question.
mom.
I just wanted to know your opinion on it because I've always referred to them as part of the Game Boy family, but even though they dropped that name.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Yeah, I would.
Plus, you can buy Game Boy
I still
games from the
call them a
digital
Game
stores.
Boy.
So yeah.
What's that?
I'm that old man because I still call them Game
Oh,
Boys
no.
randomly. I accidentally I'll be like, oh, Game Boy, DS.
I just think
But-
it's the evolution of the Game Boy is
Yeah.
the way I look at it.
Yeah,
So
that's how I look at it too.
yeah, so
I don't know why it's not called the Game Boy DS. I mean, it's essentially what it is, but
yeah,
Be nice.
that would
It
be
is what
nice.
it is.
It is what it is.
If they remade the Game Boy today, and like it played Game Boy games, like the same kind of cartridge, but had like the 3DS graphics minus the second screen, I don't need that. I'd be all about that.
Who knows? That might be what the NX ends up being.
You know, I think if the NX, if it can really play like that Zelda game on the go, like if I can take like a plane and play it.
Yeah, but how big is this thing?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, it'll all depend, but still, to me, that's kind of neat.
we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's no point in. Well, Microsoft did announce their games for gold this month, and the offering is pretty good. We have Beyond Good and Evil in HD for Xbox 360, which normally would run you $14.99. This month it will be free. Then we have WWE 2K16 for $39.99.
oh yeah.
Thank you.
Is that Macho Man?
That was Macho Man. Yeah, nice to have him on the show. I think he's dead, but glad he's here. Normally that's $39.99, and then we have Spelunky.
Listen here, brother. We need to talk about WWE.
All right.
Thank you. We have Spelunky for Xbox 360. It's normally $19.99.
That's what I call doing things to your mom.
God, Travis, would you agree, Macho Man?
Snap it to a Slim Jim. Oh yeah.
That's what she does.
Oh my God. Then we have Warriors Orochi. Don't know if I'm saying that right. 3 Ultimate. That's normally $59.99. This month, free. That brings the total value of the games you're getting this month on Xbox to
Oh yeah. 135.
wow. Thank you.
Wow, Macho Man, he's really helpful.
He's really into this.
Yeah, he really is. All right, well let's move on. So the PlayStation Plus games this month. Wow, Tricky Towers is a PS4 game and it's $14.99. We also have Rebel Galaxy, which is a PS4 game. It is actually a space. It's a space exploration game and like space pirate game with your trading and all that type of stuff. It's $19.99, which is a good game. So definitely recommend downloading that. For PS3, we have Yakuza 5, which is a $39.99 game. We also have Retrograde for PS3. That's a $10 game. And we have, how would you say that? Parapon?
Patapon.
Patapon 3 for PlayStation Vita for $14.99. And then we have Ultron.
Ultratron.
Did you talk about? No, you didn't talk.
Never
about
talked about
I
Ultratron
don't know.
before.
Yeah, but Ultratron is a Vita game, PS3 game, and PS4 game. So it's cross-platform, and it is a $10 game, bringing the total to 110 doll hairs of savings. So yeah, so that's Games for Gold and your PlayStation Plus games for the month. So make sure that you check them out. So one of the things we also wanted to talk about today is Samsung Note 7 was some details was released. So Maxwell, do you want to cover that for us?
I reckon I will. So, you guys know about the S7 Edge. It's got a 5.5-inch screen. The Note 5 is a 5.7-inch screen. It's a little bit of the exact same size phone ultimately when it comes down to it. Now, the Note 7 has less edge than the S7 Edge, but it does have edged display on both sides.
Yeah.
So, and the reason it's less is because people with the Edge are noticing that they're like accidental touching of the display when they're holding it, which is a common complaint. So it's really, the Note 7 really is an Edge. They just kind of fixed the issue. It does have Gorilla Glass 5 versus the S7 and Edge have a level 4. So it is a little tougher, a little more shatter resistant. Of course, the big thing with the Note series phones is you're going to get the S Pen, which is what a lot of people have been holding off for. Here's where it gets a little sad, though. You're actually losing out on some pixels on the Note 7 versus the S7 Edge Plus, or S7 Edge, whatever. Ultimately, there's not enough of a difference visually, though, that you'll ever notice.
Now, you mean for the screen or for the camera?
The screen.
Okay.
The display resolution. The battery is 3,500 milliamps, so it's 500 up from the Note 5. And as you notice here, they skip the 6 altogether. So there's no Note 6. It's just 5 to 7. I guess because they're wanting to keep this stuff in series. But here's the problem, in my opinion. The Note 7 it's coming out like on the 19th of August, or in my head, February.
Yeah.
So it comes out on the 19th. This is like at least 5 months after the S7 and S7 Edge. And their processor and the parts inside this thing are not any better than the S7 and the Edge. So they're really on par with the exact same features. It's not really much faster as far as the processor goes. So in the next few months, they're going to have the next generation processors in the S8 and the S8 Edge.
Yeah.
So then again, the Note 7 it's behind. So if they don't release all of these at the same time, I think they're really hurting themselves.
Yeah. One of the things that I thought was interesting to that point specifically is the Note series has always been kind of like Samsung's flagship phone that was always slightly a bit faster than whatever the Galaxy series were at the time. So yeah, to me it doesn't make sense. The only thing that makes sense to me is if they're trying to be more like Apple in the sense that where you have the iPhone, well now the SE, the 6S, and the 6S Plus, where they all offer the same performance and the same camera quality and all that, but you just have a different variety of what sizes you want. So I don't know if maybe they're doing that to kind of say, okay, well, here's the phones. They all have the same processor and things like that. You just really kind of pick what package you want or what feature set you want hardware-wise. However, like you said, when the S8 comes out, it's going to be out of date at that point unless they do a silent refresh where they keep the 7 out, but they just silently update all the internal components of it to make it on par with the S7.
Right. But then at that point, they shouldn't have skipped the Note 6. But they're trying to keep the series all the same numbers or whatever.
Right.
So it's like you're going to wait many months for the next model to come out, even though they're almost identical. And then in a few months later, you're going to make your other two better. And that's the thing. The Edge is the same size. You're not going to notice the difference between 0.2 inches between the edge and the note.
Justin's
Mom noticed. Got it. Him before the bell.
Nice.
Yeah, I hate you.
You take it as much as you can get, I guess, right?
They should have just pushed it back, honestly.
Yeah, they basically they raised the price and add a pen tool to it. That was wonderful.
What was that?
I think
It's not like you farted,
Travis ripped a hole into the space-time continuum.
I might
with his
have.
butt.
Yep, that definitely just happened. I don't
Also assaulted my senses.
But yeah, they should have just pushed the Note release back to the same time as the S8, and it wouldn't have been a problem. But I don't know. It's hard to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, but it's going to, of course, bring in it's going to be the water-resistant, same thing. It does have expandable memory, so everything that the Note 5 should have had. And here's the biggest thing about this phone, though, is that it has an iris scanner
For your
to
eyeball.
unlock it for your eyeballs. That's right.
Oh my gosh.
Not your Aunt Iris. but but it's an iris scanner, so it's going to scan your eye, and it's supposed to be 100. Man, you're ripping it hard, bro.
Quick
you
question.
done
I'm
yet?
just curious. What did you have for dinner?
I don't know.
Was it a pot of beans?
What was it? Tell us.
It was just Fiesta chicken and some rice. That's all.
Yeah. Okay.
There you
No
go.
black
You got a
beans on that?
Fiesta.
I actually chose not to have black beans. I was going to, but I didn't.
My God.
Yeah.
Well,
So iris
you're the
scanner
Fiesta Horns.
for your eyeball.
Yeah, so the iris scanner is 100 times. It's supposed to be 100 times more secure than a fingerprint scanner, and faster. But
I'd like to chime in real quick. I'm so sorry. You're okay with you want to cut the burps, but not that. Okay. I just wanted to see where we draw the line, but okay, we're good. Sorry,
yeah.
Maxwell.
I'm proud of this.
that's fine. Yes, you should be. So the iris scanner that we're talking about for the last 10 minutes because of all the crappy interruptions. See what I did there?
I see what you did there.
But it's supposed to be faster and more secure. However, here's the thing: you got to hold it up at eye level and like stare at your phone. People aren't going to do that because they want to look down at the damn thing.
The first time I see someone do that, I'm gonna push the phone into their face.
Smack it, boom,
Boom.
Yeah, yeah, unlock that.
I'm a jerk.
But I feel like it's just another thing that they were like, hey, we can do that. That's cool. Let's put it in a phone,
Yeah.
and then it's not going to be.
It's going to be one of those things that probably demos really well, like on the sales floor or like, but in real world case scenario, how much easier is it to just lay your finger on the phone where you don't even have to look at it? You know, so it's kind of like one of those things. Like I think about when they introduced the NFC chip. If it can't make the process faster or easier, then there's no point in having it. You know what I mean? So like, I'm just kind of curious of how this is going to work. Now, you said that they're going to have the iris sensor, but they're also going to still have the fingerprint sensor as well, right?
That's right. It's ultimately because that's what people are going to use.
Yeah. So
I think.
yeah, I think so too. Now, what else do you have for us? Is that it? Everything? Yes.
Do I have anything else about the phone?
Yeah.
If you want to pay more for something that should have been out 5 months ago and is not as good a value as the Edge, then you get the Note 7.
Now, I will say there's a couple features that I do like. Really just one. There is a feature called Private Folder. And what's really cool about that is it allows you to put whatever you want on it that you don't want somebody to have access to. But what's cool is if you go to open it, it's going to require one of those levels of security, either your thumbprint or your iris scanner. So you can even put apps inside of there as well. So if you don't want people to have access to your banking apps, or pictures or whatever, it's just a folder that even if you hand your phone to somebody, they can't just open the folder and go through. So, if I want to be able to hide all the pictures of Justin's mom in that folder, and
I know you're a big fan of the dick pic, so now you'll have a place to securely lock them down. I know you like to give and receive said pic.
Well, there's only so many times you can dress it up in a top hat, am I right? So, anyways.
Your mom keeps trying to do it, though.
Yep, sure does. Anyways, but yeah, so thanks for covering that, Maxwell. Like I said, it's a good release.
It's a folder.
Yeah.
It's a folder for all the people that are basically cheating on their significant other. But it's designed for people that have like banking needs and business needs that maybe have children or something. So it's kind of weird, right? Like
it is, but
private folder that's probably labeled private folder. So then your significant other is like, Well, what's in there? It's private.
Don't
Well,
worry
then
about
let's
it.
check it
Just
out.
to just to level the playing field from earlier, I bet the DNC wishes they had that folder.
Oh, got him. Politics. Anyways, but yeah, but also Bank of America has already said that they're going to support, their app is going to support the iris scanner. And I also learned a fun fact today that if you have a Bank of America account and you have at least $10 million or more in your account, they will actually send you an iris scanner that you hook up to your computer that you have to use to access your account online. So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Nice.
Just learned that today. So
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just got to get that 10 million.
yeah, that 10 mil though. Maybe one day we'll get there. If people,
I thought you said $10. It's $10 million.
Yeah, it's 10
I thought that was such a small investment to get a free iris scanner. I was like, I might do that.
No, it's
and
10
unfortunately, I like the funds.
It's 10 million.
Oh man,
so-
I swear I heard $10.
Got to
Okay.
move that decimal.
Yeah, so there was some news that came out today, actually. This is kind of staying with smartphones and tech industry stuff. There was an article that came out today that Apple's App Store has paid over $50 billion to developers since the App Store has been in place.
How many years has that been?
Well, so the iPhone came out in 2007, but it didn't originally have an App Store. I'd say 2008 or 2009, Maxwell. Sound about right?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so $50 billion to developers, which is awesome. So, so we got a couple questions to relate to this. So, we wanted to ask what are, and this goes for our listeners as well. If you guys want to comment or send us questions, or not questions, but what your answers would be to some of these, let us know. So, Justin, I'm going to ask you first.
Yeah.
What is one of your favorite mobile app games?
Oh man, there's one that I keep going back to. It is stupid. It's so stupid, but I love it, and that is Jetpack Joyride.
It's such an easy play, especially if you're waiting at the doctor's office. Taking a dump.
Yeah.
Used to be Angry Birds, but no more.
I liked Angry Birds, but not nearly as much as this.
I liked it until it got into everything. Transformers, Star Wars.
Too much.
Too much.
Yeah. Jetpack Joyride, they're just being themselves. I also like Doodle Jump.
Doodle Jump is good.
That's a really good one.
One of the ones that I like is I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's Star Wars Galaxy, I think. It's the one where you like fight side by side people. And it has like pretty much every character in the Star Wars universe.
I don't think I played that one.
Yeah, it's one of those free to play games,
But
just
with microtransactions.
Yeah, with microtransactions.
That ruined, I think, a lot of games.
Yeah, but that is one of my favorites. But one of my other favorites, my actual favorite game, is a game, and I think it's iOS exclusive. I may be wrong. Somebody may want to check and tell me I'm wrong. But there is a game called Oceanhorn. I don't know if you've heard of it, Maxwell. I don't know if you've heard of it, but Oceanhorn is the lead designer for the graphics and stuff of Legends of Zelda Wind Waker. Designed this game, and it's called Oceanhorn. I think Sea of Monsters, maybe. But it's basically a straight rip-off of Zelda. It's like a top-down Zelda-type game that you can play. It's available on iPhone, iPad, and then also the Apple TV as well. And it's an action-adventure game. It plays just like Zelda. It's a really good-looking mobile game. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. What?
Yeah, Wind Waker's your jam.
This is hard. We just got... I'll tell you guys after the show.
Oh,
We
wow.
just got a celebrity follower on Twitter.
Who is it? Is it even a good one?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great movie. He had a small part, but it's awesome. He just sent us a personal message, too.
I wanted you to say Jamie Costa, but that's not.
No, it's... do you guys ever watch the movie Dodgeball?
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
Blazer from White Goodman's gym, his team.
Blazer.
Blazer is like, Laser and Blazer.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
him. Yeah.
And he sent us a message?
He just followed us and retweeted a bunch of our stuff.
Seriously?
Swear to God.
Oh, well, that's good news.
Go in there, go on Twitter and follow Brandon Molale, I think is how you say it. Yeah, pretty awesome. That just literally just happened.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yep.
Live on the air, breaking news.
Dun,
Here I
dun,
was.
dun, dun.
Here I was thinking you were looking up that game I was talking about.
That's what I meant to do, and then it said it popped up at a notification like, "Hey, Nerds with Mics, this is Blazer from Dodgeball," and I looked into it, and sure enough, it is.
That's crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah. But Oceanhorn, if you like action adventure games, you like Zelda, it's not a free game. It is a paid game, I think.
Oh, they're
but
microtransactions.
no,
Good,
it's
'cause I will
once,
not do
it's
that.
once you buy it, you have it, and it's a great little, and it plays great on touchscreen. And if you have the newer Apple TV that has the App Store, you can download it, and if you want to use a Bluetooth controller, you can. So, yep, that is my pick for favorite mobile app game.
$9.
Yeah, it's worth it. It really is.
Wow.
Now,
Oh wow, that does look good.
yeah, it looks awesome.
Originally,
Looks like Wind
originally I
Waker.
did not have a
Did you
pick.
miss the first part of that conversation?
I was
said
starstruck on Twitter.
I said the lead designer for Wind Waker designed that game.
I was starstruck.
And then Justin's like, man, this looks just like Wind Waker. Yeah. All right, Maxwell.
You
so
know
why
what?
don't you-
I'm gonna download this on your Wi-Fi. Thanks, buddy.
Okay.
For all the bandwidth.
Yep, not a problem.
I'm just
Maxwell, so I'm dying to hear what favorite mobile game you like.
I know it's gonna be a good one. I can't wait to hear it.
Yep. It's going to be Clash of Clans.
No. So here's the thing. I was originally going to go with no game whatsoever.
Oh, man, this is a
then
surprise to even
original.
us.
Yeah, right. Just like every system I own or don't own. But then I was thinking, on any airplane that I get on, when I am bored out of my mind,
When you're done listening to our podcast at Nerds with Mics? Yeah.
that's right. Or while I'm listening, because it's audio and not video, I will pick up and play this game. It's a game you'll play for like 10 minutes, but you'll enjoy it. And the audio in this game, like the music is fantastic because it's very 8-bit and the design is 8-bit as well. Tomb of the Mask.
What's it called?
Tomb of the Mask.
Okay.
Is that a sequel to the 1990-something movie The Mask, starring Jim Carrey and Cameron
the
Diaz?
sequel to Son of the Mask.
Oh yeah, I thought that was a prequel. No, that's a sequel. My bad. I don't know what I'm talking
Tell
about.
us about this game because I am interested.
Yeah, so you're just like this little character, like little tiny guy.
Just a little feller. He's real micro. He's tiny. Not too big.
Justin knows about
And
that.
then it's just a swiping game. So you like swipe left, right, up, down, anywhere on the screen. You're just going straight up in this what's supposed to resemble a tomb, and you just collect these coins and stuff on the way up. There's traps, and then the floor, or like some kind of laser that's coming out of the floor, is basically coming up behind you. So you have to like quickly get through these obstacles and stuff. But it's just I guess you would say like a speed run platformer
Yeah.
game. But it's super fun. But like I said, it's like a 10-minute thing, and then you're just on to the next.
Yeah, that reminds me of have you guys ever played the Impossible game?
No, I haven't.
I have never. So my friend Jared, he got me onto this game, but I've never rage quit a game. I've never thrown a controller. I've never done anything like that. This game is the first game that's ever made me want to throw my physical phone, like the first time. There's a reason it is called the Impossible game. The music and stuff is awesome. Maxwell, you'd like it. But basically it's kind of like Maxwell said, it's like you're moving at your own pace, but you have to tap on the screen to jump at the right times, but you're also jumping from platform to platform, and you have to jump to the beat of the music. But it's one of the hardest games I've ever played, but it's also satisfying if you manage to do. And I think it's free to play as well. So, all right.
Flappy Bird is the most frustrating game of all time.
Oh my god.
I
Yeah.
can't get past like 3.
What's funny is I bought a Google Cardboard for my phone, and somebody came out with a version of Flappy Birds that's in VR. So
How
you
do you just nod your head to?
no, you click the button on the side to fly, but
okay.
you can look around as you're doing it. So it's kind of interesting. But so this spurs a question from Apple paying tons of money to developers from our favorite mobile games. You know, I paid for a game that was $10 on the App Store, and I couldn't be happier with it. And then also with the recent success of games like Pokemon Go, which obviously Nintendo, it's their AP. Since the success of that, is Nintendo right to continue in the mobile app space? They did the game before Pokemon Go. What was it called?
Oh my god.
What was it? What was Nintendo's game, Maxwell? Mitomo? Is that right?
Mitomo.
Yeah, Mitomo.
That's right.
That game for me lasted about a week, and I just forgot about it. It was out of sight, out of mind. Pokemon Go is stuck with me. It's something I play every day. So is Nintendo right to continue on this path? Obviously, since they've seen some success for Pokemon Go, that's the first question. And then the second question, are companies like Sony and Microsoft missing the boat by not competing in mobile game spaces? With some of the original AP, obviously Sony and Microsoft have. Now, obviously, we've seen them in a little bit of the space. Obviously, Microsoft has the Halo Spartan game. It's like the top-down Halo type game. But we don't see too many like exclusive type games on the mobile platform.
I think that's going to be really hard to make games that will be that, especially the scale of Pokemon Go, like how successful that is. And the reason it is so successful is it doesn't take a lot of utilization of like controls. You know, you're like catching the Pokemon, you're really just flicking the ball or like spinning it.
Yeah,
So there's not a lot
it's like
of
flipping the bean, really.
multi-button. Yeah. So you have no experience with that game.
Nope.
But
What?
basically, it's like you got to think about these big franchises. How do you introduce some of these others into this like flat display that is really hard to have multi-touch and direction control?
I think that only certain IPs would work with this format. Someone actually brought up Fallout would be a good one, and I kind of agree with them.
Like they've done like a Fallout Shelter
Yeah,
game.
Fallout Shelter was great.
But the thing is like I think if they can do it in a way where, because now this is a AAA developer, it's not a Sony or a Microsoft. But when Assassin's Creed Black Flag came out, they had a game, Ubisoft game, that you could download that was basically kind of like a companion game. It's your map, but you can also send ships away to run missions and things like that. But it in turn would give you in-game items for the actual console version of the game.
That's actually, now that you said that, Mass Effect 3 did the same thing. They had a game that it actually had like missions you had to do, and what you did on the mobile game affected your ending in Mass Effect 3, which kind of sucked, actually.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've seen it from AAA studios like EA and Ubisoft and stuff like that, but we haven't really seen a whole lot from first-party people like Sony or Microsoft. So, I mean, to Maxwell's point, I understand. I mean, a lot of those type of games, when you think of like a Halo game or you think of like a Forza game would be great for mobile, like a racing game. You know what I mean? Even if it's more arcadey.
Yeah. Real Racing's pretty good.
Yeah. So, like, I just think of, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like we're porting a game from the console to the mobile platform. It could be kind of a reimagination. Like I would think like, obviously it's no longer a thing, but think of how good a Fable game would have been for like an iPad or like a tablet or like an iPhone. Like that would have been a great experience.
I'm surprised Fable Anniversary hasn't been ported to iPad.
Yeah.
That seems like the perfect game to port.
Yeah. And I'm surprised. I mean, it's a big game, but like a Diablo. I mean, there's enough of them in the App Store, but like a Diablo would be awesome. But I don't know. I think the thing is like Nintendo's obviously, they're not afraid to try different things. I mean, it's kind of what they've done in years past, and that's kind of what they continue to do.
The Power Glove.
Yeah, the Power Glove. As I call it.
Your mom makes me wear one of those.
No, Justin.
Sorry.
That's not what that is. But anyways, but yeah.
I'm officially retiring from the mom jokes for the night.
Okay. Are you sure?
Well, I mean, I can't guarantee anything. Something may come up, but yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't think necessarily Sony or Microsoft is missing the boat per se, but I think they need, because when they announced that they were going to have the Smart Glass app and stuff like that, like I really expected the Microsoft app to really integrate in with their games, and they just don't do as much as what I thought they were originally going to do. But I think if the studios could make more of companion apps to games on the console and make them in a way that they're interactive, but they're also fun to play in downtime. Like I think about Fallout Shelter. Fallout Shelter is really cool. Like, it's something you can pick up and play really quick, and you don't have to put a whole lot of time into. Yeah. But yeah, so. All right. And I think that's all for that topic, unless anybody has anything they want to add. No?
As far as Nintendo, you were saying, like, is Sony and Microsoft missing out? I mean, you guys know that Nintendo recently this week made some comments that lead to believe their NX console will have augmented reality, right? Ooh. So that could be something big for Sony and Microsoft, potentially, depending on how far this augmented reality pans out, which I think was a huge success for Pokemon Go. That's what got people kind of moving around town. and it's kind of exciting. It's fun seeing your game in your real world.
Yeah.
Which is the part we've been missing for generations.
Yeah. The 3DS. Do you have a 3DS, Maxwell?
Yes.
Okay. Then like those little cards that it comes with. The 3DS already has AR kind of built into it, and it's in the form of like stupid little games and bringing like the card to life, but not much. It's not really fleshed out more than that. They really could have used it, I think, for other games and made it a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think maybe that possibly could have been them just laying groundwork for things down the road. I mean, if they started this early with augmented reality, it's hard to tell how far they may have gotten with whatever console they're working on. So, and obviously Pokemon Go was probably a part of that as well. So no, that's a good point, Maxwell. I mean, I think a lot of things are going like it seems like with PlayStation and Microsoft with the HoloLens, they're going more in a VR way, whereas Nintendo may be going more in an augmented reality kind of way. So
the HoloLens
it's
odd.
Yeah.
I don't really fully understand it.
Yeah, it's more augmented. I think it puts virtual things in.
It's like both. I think.
Yeah, it's
like there was one clip of, and there's no way it's gonna work this good. Like I just can't imagine. But they were like watching football, and on his wall with the HoloLens were like stats and like an actual like life size version of the player up against his wall, which was really bizarre. And there's no way that's gonna work. I just can't imagine it working that well.
Us being to the point in technology where it works that well.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it.
Well, and I seen the thing where you're able to have like a virtual reality, like it literally looks like you would be standing there talking to the person, and they're not really there. Like,
That's
and
weird.
Also they were playing Minecraft, and it was on a dining room table,
Yeah.
but it was actually building up from the dining room table. That's I think the potential is really cool, but honestly, like I've been reading a lot of articles online, like. Even VR isn't really getting as big of a receiving as what a lot of people thought.
It's just too expensive to buy into.
I think it's too expensive right now. I think the people that bought in are early adopters and still believe in it, but I just think it's going to take a while for the titles to get there and the cost to come down a little bit.
There were a lot of nice games announced at E3, but I mean, how far away are they from coming out?
Right.
But one thing I wanted to add to the HoloLens is if they can make it to where like you're wearing it, and they design games to like if it could like somehow read your house. How cool, and I'm going to say it again, how cool would like a Rainbow Six Siege kind of game be? With you wearing no, and like the terrorists are like in your house.
Yeah.
So like you turn a corner in your living room or into your kitchen and there's guys storming through your door.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're still going to be tethered with a cable, aren't you?
I don't think so. All the demos showed it to be wireless.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't imagine the battery life on that thing.
That is true. Good point.
You have to wear a backpack.
They made VR backpacks.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
It's a lot less demanding on the processors, it seems, for the augmented reality versus the virtual reality. And that's why you can have Pokemon Go on a phone.
Yeah, and it actually works really well, like where it places like whatever the Pokemon is within the environment. It always seems to make sense for the most part. So here's my take, and this is totally off topic, but I just kind of thought about this. So my view on VR and augmented mostly just VR. Is kind of the same way that I feel about watching 3D movies. Like, I'll go somewhere to do it. Like, I'll go to a theater to watch a 3D movie, but I'm not going to do it in my own house. And I kind of feel the same way about virtual reality. Like, they're building these, like, basically VR theme parks where they're designing buildings and rooms specifically for you to be able to walk through and round corners. So as you're in this virtual world, it scales to the actual building and room that you're in.
Yes,
so
and that
is what
would be awesome.
That is what I am sold on. When I can take me and 3 friends, we can walk through this virtual environment, and if I round a corner, it's as if I'm actually there. That's what I'm more believing in, and that's what I would be willing to leave my house to go do. But I'm not willing. I don't really want to do that inside of my own house. You know what I mean? Because when I'm at home, that's where I want to be. I don't want to be somewhere else when I'm home. That's the whole reason I'm home, because I don't want to be anywhere else.
Yeah, but when we're playing games, we're escaping, or when people read books, we're escaping. So
it just really depends. Like to me, virtual reality is one of those things where I want to meet up with friends and do it. Like, I don't want to do it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. It's like I don't want to play laser tag at home.
Right.
I want to play laser tag, with a bunch of friends in a building.
Yeah, now one of the cool things that I did see, I don't know which VR headset it was on, whether it was the Vive or whether it was the Oculus, but everybody put on their VR headsets, and it was the world that you were in. You were with friends, but you were all sitting around a campfire just talking. Like, that's literally all you were doing. So say, Maxwell, where you live down in Florida, and say if Justin moved away and we all weren't close to each other, instead of us just like having a FaceTime conversation or like calling, we would literally just be sitting around a campfire just hanging out talking. And like,
yeah, but is that digital characters representing you?
I think you add yourself in, like you scan.
Because how does, if you have a thing on your face, half of your face,
no, you scan yourself into the game, like you
so
actually.
Then it's just like robotically.
I don't know how it
moves
works.
His mouth, you know,
maybe kind of like in Rainbow Six. You would move your mouth and their mouth would move. Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've talked about VR and all those things long enough. Let's get into just a little bit of miscellaneous news. So Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, and more are coming to Hulu's new live streaming service. When I read this, I had no idea that Hulu was even working on a live streaming service.
I didn't either, and that's my jam.
Yeah, I had no idea. So
Hulu and Commit, right?
Yeah, that's right. So Time Warner Cable announced that it has actually purchased 10% in stake of the streaming service Hulu, joining other companies like Disney, Fox, and Comcast in joint venture. Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, TNT, and other live programming from CNN are heading to Hulu's live stream service. So you'll actually be able, Maxwell, I know you're probably a big fan of Adult Swim and Cartoon Network. Probably, I don't know. I'm just guessing. You just look like that kind of character.
Well, Adult Swim is Cartoon Network.
Same things? Okay, well, yeah. So that's why you're a fan of both, because same thing. But, so now you'll be able to watch Adventure Time live over the internet. What do you think of that?
That's really cool. So when does this happen?
So this is actually the service. So they've actually already introduced. They've already introduced some of the streaming content, but this is actually going to be rolling out in the next couple weeks. So
this is pretty interesting. So I feel like it's pulling away from TV even more. They're doing a really good job, and if they can make this work, then it's a good idea for people like Time Warner to jump into it because, as you'll see, right. Less people are going to be paying for cable shows.
Yeah.
It's going to be harder for places to sell that. I do know that there's a lot of word that with DirecTV, they're going to be moving towards streaming services as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be basically TV is just some kind of streaming over internet service, but then all these internet providers are capping you.
Yeah.
So what kind of world is this going to be coming to? You know what I mean? Especially with Comcast, Time Warner, whatever jumping into it.
Yeah.
They're going to cap you, but then recommend you stream their show on Hulu.
Yeah. It's kind of like when cell phone providers used to make you pay for talking and texting, but would give you unlimited data, and now it's the actual reverse of that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So, and I was actually mistaken. Sorry. So the Hulu's new live streaming service is actually set to launch early next year, not in a couple weeks.
Okay.
I was just kidding. But yeah, and it's really interesting because Time Warner is actually the first cable company that I've seen that's been even wanted to do any of these type of live streaming services, like, because everybody else is kind of very against it. So
does Time Warner have caps available in different markets? Do you know?
I don't think they have caps yet. No.
Okay, because Comcast does, right?
Yeah, Comcast and Armstrong, which is my cable provider. There's several that, and I think even Suddenlink now had a cap, but you can pay an extra $5 a month on your bill to get unlimited, which I don't know why you wouldn't just do that. I don't know why they would say either cap or not cap. Anyways.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I feel like they are investing in their future at that point. Comcast, Time Warner, they're just basically going, let's get in it now.
Yeah. Get
people interested. Let's hook them to it, and then start offering these other plans with it.
Because I've even heard, like, DirecTV, kind of to your point, DirecTV is in talks of coming out with basically, so all these different type of streaming boxes like Roku, Apple TV, things like that they're actually just going to release, instead of providing you with, you know how like you have to buy a box for every room? Instead of you doing that, if you just have like a Roku or an Apple TV on that TV, you'll just be able to download the DirecTV app and be able to watch DirecTV just streaming over the internet.
That's awesome.
which would be
That's
kind of
lower cost for them and probably more money.
it's lower cost for them, but they're probably going to charge you the same price they would charge you for an actual box or something stupid. So, but yeah. So, anyways, I think it's really cool that Hulu's going to this direction for live streaming. Any chance that you can to get away from actual cable TV, I'm all about it.
Cut the cord.
I haven't had cable in over a year, so, and I don't miss it. So. All right, well, it's time to get into part of the show. You know what time it is, right, guys?
Pick of the week.
Every single week, there is that latency. And it shows.
Terrible. I promise on my end, it was like, man, I nailed it. All three of us at the same time. Just like when you and I off recording one time sang the Barry Gibb thing. And then we played it back, and it was like not even.
Yeah.
Sounded awful.
Yeah.
In person, we are like together, but yeah. That's
So for pick of the week, I'm going to start it off. So I actually picked up. I think I said it earlier today. I had pre-ordered it a while back when they first announced it at E3, a new Xbox One S. And yesterday it came out. I picked up the 2 terabyte because it released, and I gotta say, I'm pretty excited about it. The biggest reason is because
The great games.
well, not really that. It's for the fact that I have had a 4K TV, but I haven't had anything other than the built-in apps of the 4K TV that could display 4K content. So now, when the game, I think any Xbox One game will upscale to 4K, but there are also going to be games coming out that are optimized for 4K and also HDR. So I'm really excited about that. I also picked up Batman vs. Superman in Ultra 4K, which looks phenomenal. And then, it's great to have an Xbox back. Like I said, I think I'm going to stick with my GameFly subscription and just continue to try different Xbox games out and see what I like. Because I've been away from my Xbox for a while, I'll be honest. I kind of want to go back and get the new Halo. Never played it. So I think that may be a good start.
It goes on sale a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, check every Monday.
And I'm really looking forward to Forza Horizon 3. Like, that's the game, one of the biggest games I'm looking forward to. And Sea of Thieves. So,
Oh, God.
Yeah, so, it's weird because I've always been, and I'm still going to be the biggest PlayStation 4 fan, but I think the Xbox One has kind of reinvigorated a little bit of my Xbox love, so I'm kind of excited to get back into that. So, all right, Justin, over to you.
I talked about it earlier in the episode. Batman Realm of Shadows came out this week, and I got to say, it's really good. I really enjoyed it.
So I just want to say the reason that Justin is struggling is while I was talking, Maxwell changed the show notes for Justin's pick of the week to be Batman Anal Realm of Shadows, and Justin just now read that and it threw him off.
Yeah,
so.
I did. Also, I'm looking at Maxwell's pick.
No spoilers.
Oh, yeah, we'll save that for his pick. Yeah, you're right. I was about to give away his pick. My bad.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Maxwell and listeners.
Yeah, that's all right.
Anyway, Batman Anal Realm of Shadows is that was intentional. It's good. It's really good. A little different from the previous Telltale games where, it's definitely more, they're all story-driven games, but this one more so. It kind of expedites things and kind of holds your hand, I felt like anyway. Just kind of get you to the point. But it also felt much more like a movie. It felt like a Batman movie, like I was watching one. Not Batman vs. Superman, obviously, because I still haven't seen it. But it was really good. It was really fun. And for $5, it's hard not to recommend.
I got to ask, so I know that they were supposed to use their new in-game graphics engine. Is that something you can kind of tell?
Honestly, no.
I mean, Steam customers can't tell because
No, they can't tell.
It's too buggy, but what about you?
Honestly, no, not really. It's less glitchy.
Okay.
That might be, but as far as graphical improvements, not really, no.
Okay. All right, Maxwell. What about you?
My choice was something we mentioned at the beginning of the show, Jessica Jones. And as I was noticing, and before I made Justin's note changes, somebody changed it to Jessica Bones. So I added onto that Justin's mom.
Jessica Bones, Justin's mom.
That's odd because my sister's name is Jessica. So in a way, that's really messed up. Like I'm not enjoying this segment at all.
Keep it in the family.
Yep.
But no, Jessica Jones is it's a really good show, and Travis, it's my fault for not listening to you early into this podcast when we were all here talking about it together, and picking it up, because that's kind of the point of the show is we want to get people interested in stuff. So we bring it up, and yet, I couldn't even listen to
Kind of
my
like
best
all
friend.
those things that we recommend to Justin and he never does.
Yeah,
Mr.
like
Robot,
he goes
right?
out and
Did you
actually
watch that one,
buys.
finally?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I told him during our break that by the time he watches Batman versus Superman, we can't talk about it anymore because we have talked about it too much.
Yep.
Well, that's.
So his opinion is
that
just
ship
gone.
has sailed.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna just talk about it nonstop next week. Just
Yep.
like 30 minutes of the show will be me talking about that.
Yeah. I will not allow you to talk about it anymore.
You are not my mom, no matter how many times you've been with her. So you can't order me around.
Wow. Okay. I don't even have to make mom jokes anymore. Just you'll do it yourself.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. And that does it for us this week on this episode of Nerds with Mike, episode 14. We got another one down in the books, guys.
Oh wow.
We're almost to 20.
Yep.
What do you think of that?
I didn't think we'd make it past 2.
Yep. I didn't think you'd make it past 2, yeah. So, guys, make sure you come back and listen as often as you can, and feel free to add this podcast to your favorite podcasting platform. And also make sure that you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. And all links will be found in the show notes, which will be on nerdsofmikes.com. Also want to make sure to all the listeners, make sure that you send in and write in any questions or suggestions that you have. Or if you listen to this episode and you also want to add any input, feel free to let us know. We also want to thank our sponsor, Gamefly, for being a great sponsor and a great service for us and our listeners. And then also, don't forget, we also have a store to buy things like shirts and hats and things like that. And we just sold our first T-shirt.
It's our second, but yeah.
Oh, our second.
Yeah.
Is that counting yourself?
No.
Oh, we've sold 2 shirts? That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so make sure
See,
that...
we don't really promote the store that much.
Yeah, so make sure that you go check out our store if you haven't already.
Yeah.
We need to make sure... I want a Nerds with Mike toboggan. Can we get that on there? Because it's not on there.
We can try.
Yeah, I want a toboggan. Maxwell would wear a toboggan.
Nope.
He
No,
lives
I
in
never wear a
Florida
hat.
now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you
There's
don't.
no reason to wear a toboggan. in
Yeah.
Florida.
A sun hat. I'll get a Nerds with Mike sun hat.
A visor. Let your
No,
hair
like
stick
a
up.
big
fanny pack.
old lady's sun hat.
Oh God.
We're going to get you a Nerds with Mike fanny pack. That's a great idea.
Actually,
Max.
an umbrella would be great.
Yeah.
Because it rains like every day here.
What
for
about-
like 10 minutes and it's done.
Under my umbrella. Ella. Hey.
Yeah.
It's too much Rihanna for this episode.
Ella. So,
much.
hey.
Hey.
Here's the thing. For the listeners, the fans, the not fans.
Maxwell's quitting.
God.
What?
I said Maxwell's quitting.
No, if you subscribe and all that stuff, that's great, and we really appreciate it. Do us the biggest favor ever, though, aside from, Gamefly and all that jazz. Share us.
Yeah.
Share us on your page. Tweet
Leave
us back
reviews.
out. If you like one of our clips or something, just share it out, because the biggest thing right now that we can take advantage of with you guys is just spreading the word.
Exactly.
That, make sure that you leave us reviews, especially on iTunes, because the more reviews we get, the higher we get up in the list to be able to be seen by other people that want to check out our podcast. So,
And subscriptions. I found out that actually does play a big part too.
like subscribing to the
yeah,
actual
that, you just have to press a
podcast.
button to do that.
Yeah, so
Super
we would
easy.
appreciate all the help we can get, and if there's anything else that we can do for you guys, feel free to let us know.
And I do want to point out that we do not have 100 reviews yet, but I think everyone knows what happens when we get there. Travis, you want to tell the listeners?
Free puppies,
Yeah.
sweater puppies. Am I right?
Oh no,
No, guess not.
no.
All right, guys. Well, this does it. Thanks for coming by. And let's get this show started. Boo, boo, boo! Yeah.
Oh, why? Yeah, poop.
Well, that does it for this episode of Nerds with Mikes. Come back often and feel free. We really got to change that wording. Come back
Come
often.
back often.
That is just really strange.
Oh well.
A quick little break for a second. And during that break, Travis, you said you don't believe a woman should ever be president. What did you mean by that?
Well, I did not say that. I did not say that. The break that we actually took was because I had to poop.
We'll just cut all that out. This is gonna be bad.
No, that part's funny.
Okay.
Oh,
Let it go. I mean,
well, that's all, folks.
read the. Let's just start over. Hang on. Gosh.